Nature Mandala Art Lesson with Ms. Boley.
Hi students! Here I am outside, and I've noticed that there are tons of green things growing up from the ground. It's amazing. So we're going to make a nature-inspired project today.
What are we doing? We're going to make a nature mandala. So we're going to be searching and finding materials in nature like bark, rocks, sticks, pine cones, and more, and arranging them in a circular pattern called a mandala. Now, what is a mandala? Well, it's a very important part of spirituality for many cultures and religions. It's a circular design that grows out from the center, and it's often used in meditation. So here are some art terms that we might need to know for this assignment. So as we just said, a mandala is a circular design that grows out from the center. We can see an example on the slide here. And a pattern is a design that repeats. So we have square, circle, square, circle, square, circle. It's either repeating shapes or repeating colors. And then geometric shapes are shapes that can be described by math. So circle, triangle, square, hexagon, octagon. We see a lot of these shapes in mandalas. All right, so here is an example of a mandala. And remember, radial means that it grows outward from the center. So we have small circles in the middle, and they get bigger and bigger and bigger as we go out to the outside of the mandala. And symmetrical means that it's the same on both sides. So if we were to fold it in half, it would be the same. Mandalas have many lines of symmetry. So since we're making our mandalas out of natural materials, they may not be perfectly symmetrical or perfectly geometric, but this is kind of the basic idea that mandalas are based on. And we often see that design that grows out from the center, that radial design, we see that in nature. For example, that seashell and that tree cookie there and the flower. And we also see patterns as well. So why are we doing this? Well, first of all, it's nice outside, so we can get outside and be inspired to make art about nature. We're also using found objects in our art. We're gonna learn about and discuss some other professional artists who also use natural materials in their art. And we're gonna make our own artwork that uses a radial and symmetrical design. Here are some of the materials that we're gonna need. So I went out to the playground and I grabbed some found materials that I found in nature. I was able to find a lot of sticks, a lot of rocks, some dried up leaves, some bark, and some pieces of a tree, little fir tree needle things. And I gathered them and I put them all into piles so that I could make my mandala. I also went inside my home and I had a lot of seashells and I also had some other tree cookies. So if you have other materials like this, you're welcome to use them, but it's not necessary. It's not required. Same thing with sidewalk chalk. If you have some sidewalk chalk, go for it, use it. But if you don't have it, that's okay. It's optional. And you'll also need an open area where you can arrange your objects in your circular mandala pattern. Okay, let's get started.
So to start off, you'll have to go gather some different natural materials, and then you'll have to sort them out into kind of piles of like materials. So I have all my pine cones in one pile, I have all my sticks in one pile, I have all my rocks in one pile. And you'll want to have multiples of each type of object because mandalas are all about repeating patterns. So we need to have a lot of the same material or a lot of the same object. So I need to have a lot of rocks, a lot of sticks, so that I can use them to repeat my mandala pattern. All right, so now I get to actually create the mandala. So I'm just gonna start by arranging my materials. I'm gonna put something in the center, and then I'm gonna put some other objects around it in a circle and create a bigger circle around that, and then a bigger circle around that. So I have my small tree cookie in the middle, and I'm creating a circle of rocks around that. And then I can decide, oh, I like that, I'm gonna keep going, or I can decide, oh, I wanna change that, because it's easy to change it because I haven't had to glue anything down or anything like that. I'm just placing the objects. So now I'm gonna go in with some pine cones. We'll make a circle of pine cones, which creates kind of like a star type shape. Now I will use these little sticks here, and I will arrange those in between the pine cones. And I'm just using all of those materials that I found to create a repetitive pattern that is radial. So that has a small circle and a larger circle and a larger circle growing outward from the center. So I'm gonna speed up the video here, and we will complete this one mandala example. Everything was going really well, and then suddenly something happened. The wind. But it ended up being okay. I just continued on building. But I do suggest working on a not windy day on this assignment. All right, I'm gonna go through another example. In this one, I'm gonna use some sidewalk chalk. So what I've done is I've created several concentric circles. So one small one in the middle, a bigger one, and another bigger one to kind of guide my design. And I'm going to use some sticks to create sort of like a star shape. And then I'll place some rocks to make a very small circle in the middle. And yeah, I'll just show you kind of my process for creating this larger mandala. I was able to film this one from a little bit farther away, so you might be able to see it a little bit better. And remember, we're trying to make artistic decisions, so you're definitely encouraged to change things up and try out different things and different placements of your objects as you're creating your mandala. All right, so here we go into speeding up mode. Use your sidewalk chalk if you're using it to add some interest on the sidewalk behind your mandala or even on the objects themselves. And there's my final product.
Thanks for watching.